All right, hey guys, how's it going? So today I'm going to look at a Karpov game, and this is something I do regularly as part of my training regime. And I've set myself the lofty and ambitious goal of going through every single documented Karpov game that he ever played that's available in the database. So I have this database here full of his games. Let's open it up. And I will say before I get started that I took this idea from Avatik Grigorian of Chess Mood, who once had a video where he actually went over another one of Karpov's games, and he employed the same technique I'm about to show you. And so, yeah, props to him for the original idea, but I've incorporated it into my training, and yeah, I thought I'd show you sort of my routine, my application of it, and hopefully you can do a version of the same thing, and hopefully it'll be helpful to you. Specifically, if you choose a player who fits your style and who you can learn a lot from. I'm looking at a lot of young Karpov lately because I filtered by date here. And as you can see, some of these say studied already. And if you see my big fingers, disregard that because I forgot to bring my dedicated webcam, and my laptop for some reason has the webcam like at the bottom of the screen. It's so stupid from a design standpoint, I can't even believe it. Anyway, so you're gonna have to disregard that if that happens, but I'm gonna try to keep my hand away. Anyway, so I have studied some of these games already, and I tag them, I save them with studied in the title, so I remember not to go over it again. Last night, I'll be real honest with you guys, I tried to do this video. I did record the video, and I looked at this game here that I've highlighted. The video ended up being like an hour and a half long, and I was super proud of the way I played and guessed Karpov's moves. Actually didn't guess many of Karpov's moves, but I didn't make any mistakes or blunders, and a lot of my moves were better than Karpov's, and I even found the finishing tactical blow at the end, which is difficult because when you're doing this, you have to stay tactically alert at all times in order to catch the tactics, because you're not sure, like unlike a tactic puzzle, you're not sure when tactics will come up, so you have to stay alert. So that's why this is an especially effective training technique if you stay focused the entire way through. Anyway, it was a great video. You would have loved it, but I hope this one can be at the same caliber. Anyway, we're going to move on to this one. And like I said, this is young Karpov, 1961. He was 10 years old at this time. I believe he was born in 51. What I do is I see all the moves here. I'm not really looking at them yet. I'm going to switch to the reference tab, and I'm going to play some of the first moves until we're sort of out of theory. There's not much point to guessing his moves while we're still in book. So I'm just going to have a look here. We have a Sicilian, closed Sicilian. This might be my choice if I were to play 1e4. This might be one of my choices, at least, against the Sicilian. I love closed positions. But what I've noticed in general from Karpov's opening play so far at this age is that he is not the most ambitious player. He just wants to get a sensible opening, get a sensible middle game, and try to outplay his opponent. And I mean, obviously, when he was like the dominant player in the 70s, 80s, 90s, he and his vast team of seconds and just everyone who helped him out with his openings developed a lot of theory, and that was, pivotal to his success as well. But at this age, he's just trying to get a game. So e6, d3, we still have 475 games from this position. We're just going to keep hitting the arrow until we get to a position like castles. Okay, now f4. I think this is a good moment to start thinking for myself here after rook b8. I'm not looking at the moves. I'm going to switch to replay training. And I'm in ChessSpace 16. This is the newest version of ChessSpace. I'm not sure whether the older versions have this option. I kind of doubt it. but it's a really useful tool, this replay training tab. And I'm going to turn off hints. I'm not sure why that was on. But if I make a move, it will tell me if it was Karpov's move, it will tell me if it was the engine's top move, and it will tell me if it was a mistake or a blunder, I believe. And it will give me a score accordingly. So after the game is over, I can go back and compare my moves with Karpov's, because what I do if I make a move that was not the engine's top or Karpov's move, I switch the notation tab and I make a sideline with my choice of moves, so that after the game I can even save the entire game with all of my choices, so that I can sort of just have that as a document. Anyway, so okay, rook b8, maybe ideas of b5, b4, expansion on the queen side. In general, this is super annoying. Not the position, but the fact that I have to do this again, because man, last night's game, I was on point. You guys don't even know. I was busting out the moves, and it was hilarious because literally every move I played in the opening and in the middle game, almost to the end game, basically the response I got from the replay training was that the move was okay. Not the choice of the engine, not the choice of Karpov, but okay and good. And literally that was the evaluation of all of my moves up until like the critical moments where it got concrete. But I was very happy with that, honestly. So what do we got here? Honestly, I'm not too familiar with the ideas here, but it looks like Karpov set it up quite well for me. We might be looking for something on the king side, like some f5 at some point. Obviously not queen e1 because of c2 hangs. Also, I'm sorry, you guys, but I'm not going to be able to draw arrows because replay training mode doesn't allow arrow drawing, which is really annoying, but that's the way it is. Right. a4 is not ridiculous. a4, a6. Maybe then a5. I don't know if this really stops b5. It might be a waste of time. Yeah, this is where I slow down. I might not be talking too much while I think, but maybe in the video I can cut a lot of that out. And I think it's important to, while you do this, is to treat it like you're in a real classical game. Really invest yourself in the position, understand the position, try to embody Karpov or whoever it is you're analyzing. Try to step into his shoes, step into his body almost, and just try to channel him as best you can, and that is only really possible if you really focus on every single move like you would in a real game. That is how you're going to learn the most from this training technique, and I believe I already have learned a lot. I even take notes at the end with like something I learned about Karpov's play in general at the end of each game. I think for this video though, I'm not going to, I'm going to guess each move and I'm going to think hard on each move, but I'm not going to switch the notation tab and make a sideline out of all of my moves that don't match, just for the sake of brevity for this video. All right, can we go f5 already? No, surely not. Highly considering a4. Other candidate moves, queen d2, connecting the rooks. But I don't think it's so clear where our queen wants to be yet. Another idea is... Wait, is b4 an option? I think knight takes e2 might just drop a pawn for us. Although the a7 pawn is hanging, so if we go b4, knight takes e2, let's say knight takes e2, C takes b4, bishop takes a7, rook a8. What's happening here? Oh, I'm an idiot. After b4, knight takes e2. If knight takes e2, there's bishop takes a1. That's unfortunate. And if queen takes e2, then the knight on c3 hangs. So this is impossible. Right. We could prepare b4 with rook b1, and we're stepping out of the diagonal of the bishop. This is sort of thematic, I think. In any opening where black fianchettos his kingside bishop, rook b1, rook c1 kind of stuff is normally good. Yeah, rook b1 is logical. So it's between rook b1 and a4 right now, I think. Let's say rook b1, b5. Maybe we go b4 here. You can't take. I haven't even looked at who Karpov's playing against. So Karpov is playing in Lataust, and I've looked at several games already from this event or location. I don't really know what this is. It's probably a tournament. And I've seen several of his games already from this event or location. Probably somewhere in Russia near where he grew up. I'm not familiar with his opponent, Zuliarkin. But Karpov does win this game, and it's okay to know that from the start. It's kind of helpful, actually, to know whether you should be improving on his moves or sort of finding his moves. Right. I think I like rook b1. This is a little less committal than a4. Let's look at this concretely again. Rook b1, b5, b4, c4. Is that an option? Yeah, c4 looks okay. Oh, no. c4 just drops the piece on d4. So yeah, I really like undermining. Maybe d6 is forced there. I really like undermining the central knight and activating our rook in this way. I'm going to go rook b1. Okay, it says my move's okay, just like it did for the entire recording of the last video. And it doesn't give me a score. I guess it's sort of neutral about this. I'm really curious what the engine says about these moves that are marked as okay, so I'm going to flip it on real quick. And I'm not going to look at the evaluation of this position. I'm just going to look at one. Okay, so king h1 was chosen. But if rook b1, okay, we're still in training mode. I'm going to go to notation, rook b1. Okay, and this is a mistake. Even though it said the move's okay, this is a mistake because of b4. Wait, no, not here. No. After rook b8, rook b1 here. Okay, yeah, this is fine. Sensible, I guess. Knight takes e2, d6, d5 are all options. I guess it's just not the most testing. But neither is king h1, I imagine. Anyway, I just wanted to see how what my move being okay meant evaluation-wise. Okay, going back to training mode. We know that Karpov played king h1, and black responds with b5. And we still can't go b4, obviously, for tactical reasons. Yeah, the threat of b4 is sort of annoying because this knight doesn't have a good square right now. What we could do is play e5, blocking the bishop's view of the d4 knight. And this would force something. Maybe b4 is possible. e5, b4 seems critical. And I don't think we really want to take on d4 right now because of b takes c3, activating black's rook. It looks like black is coming out ahead there somehow. So e5, b4, maybe knight a4. Knight a4 with plans of b3, and knight b2. And maybe black's dark light squares on the queen side are a little weaker than he would like. Yeah, I like e5. The only cause for concern is that it weakens our own light squares in the center. But it also activates our g2 bishop, which could be very important. Yeah, and I don't really think something like knight f5, knight ef5 for black does much for him. It looks pretty, but that knight can always be kicked away in the future. I'm going to try it. Okay, it says it's okay again, but a3. This is interesting because I was wondering if a3, what would happen if b4 anyway? a3, b4 takes. Maybe this same plan of knight a4, b3, knight b2 is good. So maybe it would be premature for black to push. d6 makes sense. Rook b1 makes less sense now that b4 is an option for black, because after taking and opening the a file, our rook is on the b file instead of the a file, where it would like to be. So I think we need to leave our a1 rook where it is. Black has ruled out e5. I really want to solve the problem of this knight in our territory. I mean, the instinct is to do something on the queen side to solve this issue, but I think that would be the wrong instinct because our own play, our pawns are pointed towards the king side, and I think that's where we want to direct play if we can. We don't want to do something like knight a2, just sort of responding to ghost threats, forcing c3. I don't know. I think we make too many weaknesses, give black too much play on the queen side. I think we have this same idea. If black goes b4, we have the same idea of going knight a4. So I'm going to leave the queen side how it is and consider moves like g4 with f5 to come. C2 is a bit tender. I'm not sure how to add defense to that. These are the kind of thoughts that if you approach the same, these are the kind of thoughts that if you decide to train this way yourself, you should be thinking. I mean, these kinds of thoughts or better. It's weird to say them out loud. I normally do this in complete silence. Yeah, I think g4 makes sense. I mean, f5's got to be the idea of this whole setup. I'm not sure how common f4 is in the close Sicilian. It seems like Seems like the natural advance. And I know from Grand Prix type setups that f5 stuff is the idea. Yeah. Yeah, I think g4, something on the king side. What else if not g4? That's the problem. Maybe rook f2? Yeah, I'm going to try it. Okay, the move's okay, of course. I'm getting a lot of these. A lot of your move is okay. It's really annoying that they don't give a score based on this. Like, in most of the first games that I trained this way with, this is not the case. Like, I would be choosing Karpov's move or blundering, basically, but not this. This is kind of worse. It's less instructive. Okay, d5. And now I thought we always wanted to go e5. But maybe this shuts down our f5 idea. No, it's tricky. If we go e5, and he goes knight takes e2, I can't take with the queen because of the fork on d4. But if I take with the knight, the d4 push would only help white, so. Okay, I'm going to speed up a little bit. I'm not going to think quite as long as I normally do in these sessions, just for the video's sake. I promise, guys, I spend a lot of time on these. It's worth it. But yeah, I'm going to go e5. It's my instinct. The move's okay. Rook b1. Sure. a5. Rook b1. Yeah, it's a little counterintuitive. This is not what I expected. I guess b4 now. I have seen a Karpov game where rook b1, b4 was chosen to shut down black's counterplay on the queen side, and this could be the case here. This could be the case. It's also always useful to play something like this to get out of the diagonal of the bishop. So yeah, is b4 possible here? b4, a takes b, c takes b, rook takes. Yeah, this is just a positive development for white if everything is taken. If b4, c4, I win a piece on d4? Yeah, okay. This is stronger than I thought. This is stronger than I thought. I'm going to go for it. Okay, that was Karpov's move. Okay, and here, I'm thinking I want to take with the knight. Because if ever c4 comes, well, obviously d4 is being threatened right now, so I have to take the knight. Okay, and now bishop g1, tucking the bishop away, not being in the way of the rook, seems right to me. Bishop g1. Is there anything else? I don't think so. Okay, the move's okay, but bishop f2 was chosen. Takes, I'm going to take with the pawn. Okay, now black has a passed a pawn, but that pawn's not going anywhere anytime soon. I'm not sure how big of a threat that is in a middle game. It will be an important asset for black in the end game, but I think this really enforces the idea that we have to create some dynamic play in order to not just force an endgame. We want to keep pieces on the board. We want to give mate. We also have a backwards c2 pawn. We could consider playing c3. Definitely not c4, because this would activate black's rook. Again, I'm sorry for not being able to draw arrows. Yeah, c3 makes a certain amount of sense, but it does activate the bishop. No. Okay, c3 is just terrible. I'm just losing my mind. c3 is just terrible. Yeah, this is why I didn't like bishop f2, because I thought we could even consider f5 with our rook looking at the f5 square, but now we can't consider this. It's probably defended well enough anyway. It would just be bad. But I know there are a lot of pawn sack lines where you can go f5 anyway and just like plunk a knight on f4 and go for an attack. You know, g4 is still looking okay. g4 with the idea of e5, and if knight d5, there's no threat. There's no threat, but knight really does look good on d5. I'm not sure if this is good for us. Yeah, I'm hesitant to play a move like g4. I don't think we're ready yet. We could play e5. The other idea behind g4 is knight g3. And after e5, we have knight e4, and maybe knight f6, knight d6. Yeah, that seems nice, although the pressure on the d4 pawn is... that's not that debilitating for black. I think the knight would rather not be tied down to the attack on the d4 pawn. Yeah, g4, I'm considering this. I'm really trying to figure out what Karpov's plan with bishop f2 was. Like, why not the natural bishop g1? Again, it might have something to do with g4, eventually coming to g3. Yeah, everything's adding up to g4. Okay, it says it's okay, but e5 first. Maybe the idea was now g4. Wow, I'm shocked that knight f5 was chosen over knight d5. This is not where the knight belongs. Because of g4, right? Maybe there's knight h4? Okay, well, for the moment, I think we have some kind of dynamic advantage because of the bishop's scope here. Right, I'm an idiot. Knight f4 knight f5 just defends d4. Yeah, so knight f5 was forced. I really should have considered e5 more, noting that we were just on the d4 pawn. But no, I didn't consider this. I was thinking more sort of strategically, not concretely, and this is a common problem that I have. Okay, so Karpov must have had a follow-up in mind here. G4 has to be the idea at some point, but I don't think it's good yet because of knight h4. Maybe after knight h4 we go bishop e4, and we just say that knight is badly misplaced. I'm liking the looks of that. because then queen e1 will come. All right, yeah, g4 has to be the idea. Okay, g4, we get this line, knight h4. I'm going to play this. Okay, this was Karpov's move as well. f5, yeah, I briefly considered this, but I thought taking is just good for us. Taking g takes gives the knight a square back, but takes. Okay, the move's okay, but en passant was to be preferred. I didn't like this as much because I wasn't sure about the structure. Although black structure isn't anything to write home about either. And the knight is still out of play, so okay, this makes sense. We maintain the bishop on e4, and we just claim that the knight is badly misplaced. All right, how are we going to make use of this? Is queen e1 right now good? Queen e1 with the threat of g5? It's not a threat because of knight f5. Can we go g5 now? I don't even know how long this game is. Like, at any point, Karpov's opponent could blunder, and we have to be ready for it. We have to really seize the moment, just like Karpov did. I've seen a few games where there was just a blunder out of the blue, and so far I've been pretty good about catching them. Okay, g5. What am I missing? g5. The knight can't go to f5 because the bishop's hanging. What is going on here? g5, bishop takes. Was he planning to just try to sack a piece for 2 pawns? Is that the idea? No, the queen's defending. Now, this doesn't make any sense. Okay, for better or worse. Okay, he did sack. I'm going to take. So we're just up a piece for a pawn now, is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, we're just up a piece for a pawn. This is completely winning already. So I'm going to go through this faster now, because with a 1 position, it's a little less critical. To think quite as long. But okay, we can even win another pawn in the center if we just take, right? Can we just take? Okay, the move's okay, but bishop g3, interesting. Offering the bishop pair? Why didn't black take that? I guess when you're down material, you don't want to trade pieces. So okay, Karpov's making use of this. But what is rook b7? This just gives away the exchange? Is there a tactical idea? Rook takes b7, bishop takes b7, check, king g1. Is there anything? Maybe queen d5? That is pretty tricky. Yeah, that would be bad news. This is a tricky move. Rook b7. I think taking would be a big mistake here. Yeah. Let's look at this one more time. Bishop takes b7. Bishop takes b7, check. King g1, only move. And queen d5. The threat is queen h1, well, queen g2 checkmate. And yeah, queen h1 also looks devastating. Maybe it's, yeah, it's got to be devastating. Again, though, why can't I just take on f5 and... Oh, well, now I'm not on the d pawn twice, so it's not available. Well, let's just defend against... I'm sure we can win a tempo on the rook if we just defend against this queen d5 business. Probably knight f4. Yeah, looks like a very strong move. Okay. It's okay, but bishop e5. I looked at this as well. It makes sense. Just hitting the pawn again. And again, I really just want to take this knight. Why can't I take the knight? Take the knight, take the pawn. GG. It's okay, but c3. Yeah, that's bizarre. Okay. I mean, you could have won it for free. I don't understand. Do we take with the bishop or the queen? I don't think we want to take with the knight. I think we take with the... I think the queen. Take with the queen. All right, he takes with the bishop and goes h6. I still haven't made a mistake in this game either, which is surprising. But I mean, I really like games with straightforward play, and young Karpov seems to have a pretty straightforward style. h6. Can we just take and trade everything? We can take on f5 first. I don't understand why the hesitance of taking on f5. Do you really value the bishops that much? But wait, that's just a free pawn, isn't it? G takes h6? What is the big idea there? Maybe rook h7? Nah. I'm just going to take. Okay, it's okay. But bishop f6. I didn't even consider this move. That's nice too. All right, queen b6. And I'm going to try to take here again. I'm not blundering anything. No. Okay, the move's okay. That move's always going to be okay. But no, okay, knight f4 makes sense as well, hitting everything in the position. Ace takes g. I'm trying to guess his moves rather than the engine's top moves. And I think that's another important thing to note too. I think you'll actually improve more if you train that way. If you really try to embody a strong player, you try to play like them rather than trying to play like the engine. That is not the point of this. You're not just trying to find the best moves. You're trying to get in the mind of Karpov or whoever it is you're analyzing. Okay, so I guess we have to take with the bishop because the bishop's hanging. Okay, rook h7. This was the whole point of h6. Does he have any threats? I don't see any threats. Ah, there's knight g3. So please, can I take the knight? Can I please take the knight now? Is there anything stronger? Ah, it's got to be right. Okay. The move's okay, but queen d2, we just keep defending. I mean, okay, whatever. I'm not gonna question it anymore. King f7, preparing rook h8, rook h8. Can we just improve our rook here? It's not doing anything. Can we go like rook c1, rook bc1? Looks good to me. What's going to be our answer to rook f8? Maybe we go rook f2 first? Do I have to be worried about knight e3? Well, if we didn't take the knight up till now, Karpov's not going to take at this moment. Surely. I really want to organize some kind of rook defense on h2. Maybe I don't have to be worried about knight e3. I don't think I do, because if rook f2, knight e3, there's going to be some like knight d5 discovery. So let's just play this. Okay, it's okay, but queen g1. Again, I think that probably prepares rook b2 or rook f2, but also gains a tempo on the queen. Makes sense. Okay, now rook c1. Looks pretty strong. I think we can give this b pawn because of the rook c7 threat. Rook c1, queen takes b4, rook c7 check, king g8. I'm starting to realize that the reason Karpov kept this light squared bishop on is for the defense of his king, because the light squared diagonal h1 a8 is very tender otherwise. So I think it's a very important insight to realize that this is a defensive piece and is much more valuable than this knight on f5. So shame on me. I'm just now noticing queen a7. Does this do anything? Queen a7, king g8? Or we just have to move again? Yeah, I don't like it. Maybe just the calm rook f2 again. I don't really like how it blocks the diagonal of the queen this way. We're getting to the point where white's kind of looking for a knockout blow, though. And rook c1 looks like an important step towards it because we're activating the last piece. But again, we're anticipating rook fg8 or rook fh8, and we need to find a way how we're going to defend this. It's got to be rook f2, right? Let's just play it now. Okay, rook c1 was chosen. And of course not queen takes b4, but rook fh8. Now I was planning on playing rook f2. I'm just going to try it. Yep, this was played. Bishop d7. I guess the important point was that rook c1 was playable first. We always have rook f2, but maybe it's important to keep the initiative, although it looks like it just transposes in this specific case. Right, bishop d7, defending against rook c6 stuff. Man, our two bishops are really dominating this position. It's really nice. Shame on me for wanting to take on f5. Shame. It also helps black improve his structure. See, that's already something I've learned from this game, is not to be too impulsive with exchanging pieces when you're up material. You don't want to allow your opponent unnecessary counterplay. And you definitely don't want to improve his position for him. feels like there has to be something concrete here to me. I'm just noticing. This took me way too long to notice, but the g6 pawn is loose. Can we do something like bishop? I don't know, bishop d8 or something. Not bishop e7 because, like, maybe king takes e7. If king takes e7, then knight takes g6. Bishop e7. I guess knight takes e7 just defends g6. But then maybe we still have bishop takes g6, knight takes g6, queen takes g6. But after king e7, I think... Wait, let me see if I'm calculating this right. Bishop e7, knight takes e7. Okay, now we can go knight takes g6, discovered check from the rook. This should be very good for us. Very good. But is bishop e7 the correct discovered attack on g6? I'm not sure. It was either that or d8, right? Maybe f6. Bishop f6. Oh, that's a very clever move. If king takes f6, queen takes g6 check, king e7. Surely there's something here, right? Queen g5, check. King e8, maybe? Maybe we just don't have anything there. Tragic. Okay, so bishop d8 is looking interesting because rook takes d8 I don't think can be played because the rook on h7 is dropping after queen takes g6, check. King e7, queen takes h7, check. Or maybe king f8, queen takes h7. Yeah, that's completely winning for us. Bishop d8. What is black's response? Bishop d8 also threatens bishop c7, which is really nice. This would be a brilliant maneuver. Yeah, okay. If he can't take on d8, I think this is just very good for us because black's not really threatening anything right now, and this is just a really nice maneuver. Okay, it says it's okay. But okay, Karpov chose the direct knight takes g6. I didn't even consider this. Why didn't I consider this? King takes? What's the idea? Oh, just bishop f4. Winning the queen. Right. This is much simpler, but I'm a sadist. I like bishop d8 as well. Let's see what the engine says about bishop d8. Bishop d8 is engine's third move. It's still plus 8 point... No, it's the engine's second move. It's like pretty much the same... Oh, now it's the first move. Engine prefers bishop d8. Look at that. Yeah, that's a sadistic choice. This is definitely what I would play. Okay, anyway. So again, I usually have a game... Oh, I'll show you. I usually have a game, this is the first one I looked at, that's sort of full of these sidelines. This isn't a good example either. Man, I'm slacking. Yeah, more like this, where like all of these are instances where I played my own move and not Karpov's or the computer's or something like that. And then I go back through after the game and figure out exactly why I had chosen that, and sort of improve my thought process accordingly. So yeah, that's again, this is a method proposed and demonstrated first by Avitik Grigorian of Chessmood. I'll give a link in the description to his channel and that specific video so you can check it out for yourself. Yeah, hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Cheers.